Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Rob with American Angling, and today we're looking at Fishing Planet, but we're talking power fishing, and all of these things will apply to your real life fishing as well. So we're going to take a look at this map. This is Blue Crab Lagoon, Blue Crab Island. So this whole area right here is what basically I would call brackish or most salty water. We're chasing largemouth and shoal bass, so which means we probably have to go back to the farthest corner, and it looks like, based on the map readings, this area up here might be key because of this cut with all of these little underwater points. Underwater hump right here, underwater hump right here, and we're going to run all of this with the spinnerbait crankbait. So let's head back there and see what we find. Alright, so we made all the way back here, and there's something I mentioned these maps as well. If you look at the map here, this map is different than the one you're going to have on your tablet. The tablet one is going to be a little more basic map. The one on your boat is going to be a little more of a detailed map. So seriously, about 6 foot, 5 foot. We're going to go ahead and throw a 3-foot crankbait up here towards this hole, and hopefully get something out of it. So the whole point of power fishing is just covering water. We're going to keep controlling motor up on high. We're going to speed up our reel a little bit. This reel is a little bit slower. And we're just going to kind of move the boat as we're reeling in. We want to try to kind of match the speed of the boat. Sometimes you got to speed it up, the reel up quite a bit, to make it so the lure has the right speed since we're moving the boat towards it. You see, nice and fast, if I slow it down, that bait rises. There's going to be less tension in the line. So if I go ahead and speed that lure back up, actually going slower in the water, the reel is just going to make it look like it's going a lot faster. But something to keep in mind too is if you're going to power fish, you're going to need a little bit faster reel speed, like maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7.3, something like that. Our goal is to fan cast. So fan casting essentially is off the nose of the boat. You're going to cast in chunks. So effectively, you're going to cover significantly more water than you would if you made just one really long cast. If you consider you're covering a stripe, right, versus a section of a pie. So just kind of think about that is fan casting, you're going to cover significantly more water, significantly faster. I think what we're going to do is going to have to position the boat perpendicular to the shore to take swaps at it to figure out what depth. Or you can go parallel to the shore or the underwater structure and figure out from there where they are based on long swaths. All these fish are up fairly high in the water column, so it might be beneficial to run a spinnerbait here. We might switch off to that if these fish are going to be up on the flat. But if you see, it looked like I had a couple of chasing me. And, you know, don't be afraid to reel it up. Throw a little slack in it, reel it up, throw a little slack in it. Just kind of... Wow, there's quite a few under me. Alright, our first hookup. And turn that drag up a hair. Hopefully, the bass. Oh, nope. Come on now. Bowfin, man, they love their spinnerbaits, don't they? There we go. Hey, a butterfly peacock. Oh. There's a shoal, 15-incher. Keep that one. What I'm saying is, as long as you keep moving, you can hit different spots, and spinnerbait really works well with that, because you can cover a lot of water with a spinnerbait, a lot of depths, a lot of opportunities to not get snagged up or get unsnagged easily. You see we just went on top of a shelf right here, 3-foot shelf, so a bass must have been right on that 3-foot to 5-foot transition line. Do one more cast parallel to shore as we leave the area. This really is just kind of fishing the water, right? So you're just kind of trying to fish out what's around you. And a largemouth, yeah, see, that's why you always come back, hit that spot one more time, and see if they're schooling up. They could be schooled up there. If that's the case, I probably could cast a few more times and fish them out. But in actuality, like, I wouldn't want to spook that school too much, unless I can get them fired up. And then at that point, yeah, absolutely, I'll keep fishing that same school. This fish are about 3 foot down there. The crankbait seems like the only real option here. I mean, the spinnerbait's fine, right? But that crankbait is just in the right depth for most of these fish. I mean, just look at that all stacked up in that, like, 3 feet area. Huh. Alright, well, shoal bath. Perfect example there, right? It's not necessarily just about kind of covering water. It's about covering water the correct way. So using that worm, the crankbait, all that stuff to kind of just effectively cover water is super important. It's like, I saw this piece of hard cover on shore, the dock. So I went ahead and made a cast to it with a worm, let it sink on down, and just kind of started twitching the worm back. Now, spots like that, typically on colder days, can be the way to go, or, I mean, really hot days, right? That shade under that dock could be super important to having a little bit colder water for them fish. And again, at power fish, man, just not stopping, covering water as you're going instead of jumping spot to spot. You see, I didn't slow down there at all. I kept on the trolling motor the entire time. I'm fan casting the open flat. And these fish are going to pop up. So you're going to catch fish usually that are transitioning or actively on the hunt. That's our active thing, right? Because we don't want to try to make a fish eat. We want to try to let a fish eat. That's the difference in power fishing. It is you're covering water, you're effectively getting in their face and forcing those instincts of fish that are already kind of heightened with those instincts. Alright, so how far have we fished out of this area? So we've effectively covered about half the map or so. We could swing back around and fish all this, doing the same exact method, but I think we're going to keep on going. Now, if you don't want to waste a ton of time, I'll do one last trick. Again, this map is different, right? So let's make some jumps to a few different spots and take power fishing to the next level. Okay, we're hooked up on something. Something big, evidently. Good grief, pulling the boat. Be able to see what it is. The giant bowfin, probably. Like fishing up north, man, so you're going to catch a bunch of pike. Throwing a spinnerbait at the same point, like, it's pike. They're a ton of fun to catch. What is that? Oh, what is that? Is that a huge bass? Is that what that is? That is a good sized bass, dude. So, okay. See, that is what I'm talking about, though, is you can make these jumps to these high traffic and high value spots. Don't spend a ton of time there. Just power fish through them, run your rotation, and keep moving. Don't waste all day long on one spot with high pressure fish that aren't going to bite. You want to make sure that you're in a location that you're going to be getting bit. And sometimes that means moving and making that call. But first cast, you know, into that hole. Actually, we'll mark that spot too. We'll see exactly where it was. Yeah, right on the edge of that hole, right where it was. That's, you know, being able to call your shots and being confident in where you are and what you're doing is absolutely key. But combining power fishing with fishing spot on the spot, which we'll cover in another later video, you really learn how to cover water effectively. And you learn habits of fish really quickly that way, because you're covering significantly more lake. You're figuring out what transition. Is it sand transition to marl? Is it, are they using weed edges? Are they using grass lines for transition periods? Are they using slopes? Are they using underwater points to break current? Are they, you figure all these things out since you're covering water and different types of water in different areas. It allows you to learn and read the fish more effectively than if you just find one hump, right? And you fish those humps day in, day out, you beat it to death. You won't learn what those fish do in the off time for those bad days. In my mind, that's a lot of the puzzle. Is there's a lot of bad days, right? There's a lot of days where you go out, you try to hook up, and it just never quite happens until you start moving around and being more methodical in your process. I mean, that's 2 trophy fish back-to-back bass, right? I understand this is a game. However, it mimics reality in the aspect of it's going to tell you what these fish are doing. Okay, so yep, that's right on that transition. You see both of those spots are on the transition from the hole. I'm actually in the hole right now. So effectively, they're up against the weed line, using that back to strike down. There's fish on the bottom here, so what we can do is we know there's these fish here, right? So we can go ahead and we'll back off this a bit. Okay, so now we know 7 feet. So I can go ahead, I can grab that 6-foot crankbait, give it a pop every once in a while, and you hook up. Decent size one, 2.5 pounder or so. I did see, yep, I thought I saw something strike at it. But again, in that same area, power fishing is effective. Alright, we're gonna make one more cast over this area, and we're gonna run to the next hole. There's that large hole coming up. Areas like that are really effective. You can cover all of this, with just a couple of casts. And that dock is right there. Yeah, this might be... Yeah, yep. Alright guys, I'm going to keep on scanning this lake. So if you like this video, hit like. If you like, give me a subscribe. We're going to hop on out of here, do some fishing, and I will talk to you guys later.